Will, going to, and the present continuous, they can all be used to talk about the future, but they definitely are not the same. So let's break down exactly when to use each one. We'll use some simple, clear examples to make sure it all makes sense. Let's get started.
So think about these three sentences for a moment. I'll call you, I'm going to call you, and I'm calling you. They all seem to point to the future, right? But the meaning is actually quite different. These small choices signal very different things. By the end of this quick explainer, you'll know precisely which one to choose and why.
All right, let's start with our first and maybe the most common future form, will. You might know this as the future simple, and it's often the very first one that English learners are taught.
Now, the structure here couldn't be easier. You just take the word will and follow it with the basic form of the verb. So, will eat, will go, or will see. The best part is, it doesn't change for he, she, or it. It's exactly the same for every single subject.
So, when do we actually use will?
Well, its first main job is for spontaneous decisions. Choices that you make right at the moment you're speaking. For instance, you suddenly feel thirsty and decide, I'll drink some water. Or maybe you see someone struggling with a heavy bag and you offer, I'll help you. In both of those situations, you didn't have a plan before. The decision happened right then and there.
Second, we use will when we're making predictions that are based on our own opinion or belief, not on some kind of solid evidence. Saying, I think it will rain tomorrow, is really just your personal feeling. It's the same for big general predictions like, people will live on Mars one day. It's a belief about the future, but there's no immediate proof.
And finally, will is really important for social situations. We use it all the time to make promises, offers, and requests. For example, I'll call you later is a very common promise. And a simple question like, will you open the window, is just a polite way of asking someone to do something.
Okay, let's move on to our second form, going to. This is where we start to shift away from those spontaneous decisions and into the world of plans and intentions.
The structure here is a little more involved than will. You need the correct form of the verb to be, that's am, is, or are, and then you follow that with going to and the base verb.
The number one reason to use going to is for plans you've already made. So when you say, I'm going to start the gym next week, it means you decided that before this conversation even started. It's not a spontaneous thing. It's an intention you already have.
Now remember how will was for predictions based on opinion? Well, going to is for predictions that are based on evidence you can see right now. If you look up at the sky and see dark clouds, you'd say, it's going to rain. The evidence is right there in front of you. Our third and final form might be a little surprising. It's the present continuous. We use this for future events that are even more certain than a plan. We're talking about fixed arrangements.
The grammar here is exactly the same as the normal present continuous. You just use the verb to be plus your main verb with an ing ending. It's the context of the sentence, usually with a future time word, that tells us we're actually talking about the future.
So, this is the crucial point. We use the present continuous for fixed arrangements. These are more than just plans. They are scheduled events. If you say, I'm meeting my friend at 6 p.m., it implies that you've both agreed on the time and place. Or if she's flying to Tokyo, it suggests that her ticket is already booked.
Okay, so we've looked at all three forms one by one. Now, let's put them right next to each other to really understand the differences. This is where it all clicks into place.
Let's look at this comparison. For a decision you make right now, like feeling hungry, you say, I'll make a sandwich. But if it was a plan you had earlier, it becomes, I'm going to make a sandwich. And for a fixed, scheduled arrangement, I'm making dinner with friends tonight. The same logic works for predictions. A general belief is she will win. But if you can see her ahead in the race, you have evidence, so you say, look, she's going to win.
Understanding the rules is one thing, but avoiding the common pitfalls is what will make you sound natural. So let's look at a couple of mistakes people often make. A really common mistake is to use will for a plan you've already decided on. A trip to Spain next month isn't a spontaneous decision, right? It's a plan.
That's why I'm going to go to Spain is the correct choice here.
Now, this is a simple one, but it's so important for grammar. With the going to structure, you have to always include the word to before the main verb. So remember, it's going to study, not going study.
You know, to help you choose the right form, you can listen for certain signal words. Sometime expressions often go together with specific future forms.
Try to listen for these clues. Phrases that show an opinion, like I think or probably, usually signal will. General future words like soon or next week often point to a plan with going to. But when you see a very specific, fixed time, like at 6 p.m. or on Monday, that is a very strong clue that you should use the present continuous.
Okay, you've seen the rules, you've seen the examples. Let's do a quick check to see if it's all making sense. Time for a little practice question.
Take a look at this sentence. Look at the traffic. We be late. Which form do you think fits best here? I'll give you a second to think about it.
The correct answer is are going to. And why is that? Well, because the phrase look at the traffic is the clear, visible evidence right now that leads to the prediction of being late.
So, there you have it. You now have the tools to choose between will, going to, and the present continuous. And really, the best way to master them is to start using them right away. So think about your own schedule. What are you going to do after this? Do you have any fixed plans where you are meeting someone later? Try to make a few sentences for yourself. Thanks so much for watching.